Hi all, Pankaj here. So in this video we're going to talk about some important formula functions, and these formulas be as on your screen: the AND or NOT function, the if and case function, the IsBlank and IsNull function. And remember one thing, in between IsBlank and IsNull, IsBlank is preferred, IsNull is not preferred. These functions are useful irrespective of whether we are working with a math function, text function, pick list, and checkbox, etc. formula type. Here the formula type doesn't mean the return type because there is no pick list return type or the checkbox. It's just the formula type based on whether we are working in pick list, text, or maths related formulas, or checkbox, or when we are creating the formula function. So keep that in mind, and they all come handy in every formula type development based on the requirement. So that's why they are important to study, because they are useful in every formula type. So now let's look into first AND, OR, and NOT. Okay, so let's move ahead. So on your screen you could see the difference between the definitions of the AND, OR, and NOT function. Okay, so many of you might already know, but those who don't know could look into it again, and those who already know could revise again. There is no issue in revising. Okay, so the built-in AND function takes at least two arguments. Keep in mind it takes at least two arguments. Okay, so it returns true if and only if both the arguments are true. So it could take more than two arguments, but for the simplicity of understanding we have taken an example where AND is taking two arguments. Let's study it. Okay, so as you could see here, the first argument is true and the second argument is true. Since both are true, it is true because every argument we need to be true to get the output as true. Now here again the first argument is false, but the second argument is true, but both are not true, so the output would be false. Again here one argument is true but one is false, so the net output is false. Again both are false, then it's false. So keep in mind, to get the net output as true you need every argument to be true. Now we come to the OR function. It is kind of worked in a reverse of the AND. What it do is, to get it true you need at least one true. So the OR function takes at least two arguments. It returns true if at least one of the condition is true. As you could see on your screen here, the first and second both are true because we need at least one, but both are true, so the net output is true. And in this argument only one second argument is true, but the first argument is false, so the net output is again true. And here the second argument is false, first is true, so the net output is true. So as you could see in all of the example, whenever there is a single argument which is true, the net output would be true. The NOT function, the NOT function, as the name indicate, it just reverses the functionality. What do I mean by that? Suppose something is giving the output as false. Now you put it inside the NOT function. Okay, the net output would turn into true. And similarly, something is giving false, put it inside the NOT function and the net output would be true. So that is how the NOT function works. Okay, it changes anything that is true to false and anything that's false to true. So I think that's simple. Now let's look into something else related to AND, OR, and NOT. Okay, so why do we need to use AND or NOT function when we have operators available for it? As like you could go back and watch the previous video where I have explained the operators, and anyhow I will also add the link for that. Okay, so when there are functions and there are operators, both work the same thing. So why do we need the function when we already have operators? Now there are 2 points to support this. The first is, using logical functions simplify the formulas and make them easy to understand. So it simplify the formula and easy to understand, like what we have written. Okay, now and less typing for the developer or admin. That is short. As you could see, we have 2 examples of the AND function, like AND operation. One is using operator and the other is using the function. As you could see here, this example saying 5 greater than 3 and 6 greater than 7 and 9 greater than 7. Basically it in the net output would be true because every single argument here is true. Okay, but as you could see, the developer or the admin need to type this $&% again and again. This is a short example, but if there are many arguments, then it kind of becomes cumbersome. Okay, that is also one thing. And here, like, you don't need to type and you just you write and in the bracket you just put your conditions or the argument. And other way, like I was saying, it simplify the formula and easy to understand. As you could see, if we write it like this, it will take a lot of space on the formula editor. And when we write it, it reduces the space that it would have taken if we have used the operator. So it's easy, like it simplify the formula in one way, and it's easy to understand. By looking at this formula, you will be like, yeah, since everything is inside and if every single argument is true, the net output would be true. But here you need to check, yeah, is it and or is there something else like or somewhere? that you don't need to check. Okay, so that is one of the, like, these are the 2 points so that support that usage of functions over the operators. So now let's look into other important functions. So the next important function is the if statement. Though if I've covered in the previous video, so if you haven't watched that video, no worry, I would add the link for that video as well. Okay, now let's understand the if function. So what is the syntax is if logical test, value if true, value if false. Now let's understand what does it mean. Here is some condition. Okay, if this condition is true, then this statement will execute. If this statement is false, then this condition will execute. That's simple. Now let's look into one example. We have also used this example in the previous video, but let's understand it. What is this example saying? If number of employees not equal to 0, if it is true, then it will execute this statement. Okay, this. If number of employees is 0, then it will go here. Okay, so what this formula is doing is actually is calculating the revenue per employee. Okay, and as you could see, the number of employees is coming in the denominator, and we know by the math standard nothing can come, like the denominator could never be a 0, or you could never divide something by 0. So that's why we are checking this condition. If the number of employees is not equal to 0, then we calculate the annual revenue per employee by dividing annual revenue by number of employees. If it is equal to 0, we simply say the annual revenue per employee is 0. That is what this formula is doing. Now there is one interesting thing, that we could have nested if. What does nested if means? If within if. Okay, now we come to this formula. Let us understand this example so that we could better understand what actually is nested if and how do we design it. So first let me tell you what this formula is doing. This formula is calculating an interest rate. Okay, so since it's calculating an interest rate which comes as a percent, so I am using percent as a return type for this formula. Okay, and why this is as to 0.02. So in percent, suppose here the value would have been 2%, but with the percent field we store the value divided by 100, and in the output that value get multiplied by 100 with a percentage sign, along with a percentage sign. So that's why we are storing it as 0.02, which actually means is 2%. This means 3%. This means 4%. Now that's out of the way. Now let's focus on the formula. The formula is saying if the prize money is greater than 0 and prize money is greater than 50 and prize money is less than 100. If it is fulfilling all these three conditions, then we return 0.02 or basically 2% as the interest rate. If all this argument is false, if a single argument is false, two of the argument is in that condition, we will be going to the else part. Value if false, basically this statement comes out to be false, so we move to the else part. Here the value if false. Now in this segment we have again put a if statement. So what this if statement is doing, it is calculating if the prize money is greater than equal to 100 and prize money is less than 150, we give 3% as the interest rate, else we give the 4. That is what this formula is doing. Hope you are able to understand like how we are designing nested if. If you are not, no worry, we will be looking when we go to our all, we will be designing an example for it. That is going to be a different example from this one. Okay, so now the next function comes out to be case. What is case? Okay, and why do we need case if we already have if? So that things we are gonna understand. So what this case do is it checks an expression against a series of values. If the expression compares equal to any value, the corresponding result is returned. If it is not equal to any of the values, then the else result is returned. Basically this expression is evaluated against these values, the value 1, value 2, and like that, like there is no limit on the number of values and result you could put here. Okay, so suppose this expression is evaluated against this value. If it is equal to this value, then this result will be given as the output. Suppose if it is not equal to this value, it goes to this value. If this expression is equal to this value, the result corresponding to this value would be given, and like that. Sorry for that again. And like that we would check against each values and give the corresponding result related to that value. But if none of the value matches this expression, the else, whatever the value in the else, would be returned as a result. So that is how the case function works. Now let's take a simple example. So in this case, we are evaluating the type pick list of the case object. Okay, so if type is equal to electrical, we are going to give it a rating as 1. Okay, If the type comes out to be electronic, we is gonna give it the rating as 2. If it comes out to be mechanical, we are gonna give it 3. If type is coming out to be structural, we are gonna give rating as 4. And if the type is coming out to be other, we are gonna give rating as 5. If none of the value match, we again give the rating as 5. Why now you will be saying, now with the other we already giving 5, why we need to write this 5? And since the pick list, these are the all values, like the green ones are all the values in the pick list. Why? Because this else result is compulsory. If we don't write it, then we get an error, so it need to be written again. Okay, since if we have given all the value, we don't have option to give any other value in the pick list, or the end user couldn't select any other value, so we are simply returning 5. Just for the sake of the correctness in the formula, we are just copying this value again. Not a big thing on that. Okay, so now case is a solution against nested if, as too much nested if are confusing and difficult to track. Yeah, you could agree on that. Suppose if we are designing an if function and we are putting so many if inside it, it would be difficult to track the values, like where we are, like it would be difficult to follow along the formula if we are supposed checking coming back to the formula and checking, yeah, where the error is coming. We could not be able to find the error if we are facing error when designing the formula using nested if. Okay, so if is a better case is a better solution against nested if. So like there is a simple, like there are 2 pointers to help you understand whether you need to go with the if or with the case. Now if there is a simple requirement with no nested if, you need to go with the you need to use if. Okay, but if there is only one nested if, yeah, there is not a big complexity there. Even in that case you could use if or case. That is not a big issue. If there are more than one nested if, then I suggest you go with case, and basically mean use case function. Okay, now case could also be used in combination with the if statement. So how? Let's look into this example. So this is the same example but with a little twist. So what this is doing is, if the type of a case object is electrical, it's give rating 1. If electronic, if it is electronic, it checks few things further ahead. It is checking whether the origin for that case is web. If the origin for that case is web, it gives the rating as 2. If something else other than web, it gives the rating again as 1. And other formulas are similar as we have written above. So simply we just place the if statement in the result part of the case function. So that is not a big. So now let's move ahead and look into our IsBlank and IsNUll. So what are IsBlank and IsNUll? Both determines if an expression is null or blank. Basically the value of the field is empty, and returns true if it is empty, and returns true if it is empty, and if it contains a value, it returns false. Okay, both function could be used, but IsBlank is preferred over IsNUll. Why? Because IsNUll doesn't work with the text. IsBlank works with text and every other record type there in the Salesforce ecosystem. That is why we prefer IsBlank. Okay, and though if you have any old formula with IsNUll, no worry, Salesforce will keep supporting IsNUll. Okay, so and also the reason why it doesn't work, because text fields are never null. That means even if you don't provide any value, and even if you didn't provide any value, IsNUll function takes empty as a value. So using IsNUll with a text field will always return a false, because text field could never be empty, so could never be null. So if we are checking a text field using null, it will always take a value, because text field could never be null, so it would never return true. It will always return false. So that is one of the reason to go over the IsBlank. So I've created one example here using IsBlank. So what this example is doing is it checking IsBlank if the number of employees is blank or the number of employees less than equal to 0. We are giving 0 as the output, and if it is false, then we go to the annual revenue by number of employees. This is the previous example that I talked about, and also this has been discussed in the previous video. So I would be again this link would be in the description, so you could go there. So let me help you understand this formula before we move to our role. What this formula is doing, it's checking if the number of employees field is blank. Yeah, if it is blank, or if we have filled any value in the number of field which is less than or equal to 0. As you know, we could not divide by 0. Simply give the output of revenue per employee as 0. Otherwise, we calculate it by dividing annual revenue by number of employees. That's simple. So hope you're clear with all these functions. If you have any issue, you could let me know in the comments or connect with me over LinkedIn. The link for the LinkedIn will be in the description. So now let's move to our org and see how these things works out. So we are on our org, and we're gonna look into few of the case scenario based on the functions that we just discussed. So now let's look into those case scenarios first before we begin. So the first case scenario would be this one. It's gonna help you in understanding the and or function and the if statement, basically the nested if. Okay, so what this formula will do is it will provide a title to a student based on the marks on the subject, like basically the math and science. If he's scoring like greater than 90 in both math and science, we are going to call him Einstein. If he's scoring greater than 90 in one of the subject, we are going to call him Tech Whiz. If he's scoring less than 90 in both of the subject, we are going to call him Learning Techie. So that is the first scenario that we want to discuss. Next, we're going to look into case with the same example that we just discussed. Okay, we are just copy pasting and that would be done. You could design it on your own. If you face any issue on that, no worry. Okay, or we could do one thing. Let's say we just look into this example and we design it from the starting. Okay, that way we could do it. Instead of copy pasting, we will type it. Yeah, that would give you a better understanding of things. And the few of the example of IsBlank and IsNUll we already designed in the previous video, so we will just look into that example in the formula editor. Okay, we will not be designing that. If you want to see how we design it, you could go back into the previous video. That's not a big issue. Okay, that's a simple thing. Okay, so let's begin. So now let's move to the setup, and from the setup we will go to the object manager once it's loading. So we go to the object manager, and from the object manager we're going to search the object student, where we are going to design that title formula. We select student and we go on the fields and relationship, and then the new field that we're going to design. Okay, so from the new field we will go to the formula, and then we go next, and for the formula let's give it the name as title. Okay, title is the name of this formula. Okay, and we're gonna, since we are returning as title, so the return type would be text that we selected, and we go next. So the return type would be text. So let's design that formula. So first we need that if function. So we will go to the logical category, and there is if, and we select if. Okay, for the logical set, first we are going to test the marks in, we are going to use the AND function here. So there we go, it insert the AND. Okay, and here we are going to put is maths marks greater than 90. So insert field, and we select the maths score. There is field maths. Yeah, insert it, and it should be greater than 90. Okay, and then we select the science. Insert field, and we're going to select science. Yeah, insert it. Science should also be greater than 90. Okay, yeah, if it is true, we're going to call him Einstein. Okay, Einstein. Okay, that is, we're going to call the student. If it is not coming to be this, we go to the else part. Okay, here we will be using another if statement. We will be checking if he is scoring 90 in one of the exam. So we select if again, so we put this as it is. Okay, we will be needing an or here. So for the logical test, let's use or. Here it is, and we will just putting this as it is, copy it, and then we just paste it here. Okay, I go, sorry, the or part, I need to put it inside the or, not remove the or. Okay, so we placed it, so it is true. Now if he's scoring like greater than 90 in one of them, we're gonna call him, what was we gonna call him was the tech wizard. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, we were gonna call him tech wizard. Yeah, tech whiz. So we're gonna call him tech whiz. Okay, since it's a text, we need to put into the inverted commas. Okay, tech whiz. So we're gonna call him tech whiz. Either you could use single quotes or double quote, that doesn't make a difference in any way. If this statement is false, like neither one of them is true, we go to the else part, and we're going to call him learning tech whiz. Okay, learning tech whiz. That is our formula. Yeah, done. That's how it simple is. It is. So let's look into this once again. So what this statement is doing, okay, so we go here checking the first condition. If the student is scoring greater than 90 in one of them, in both of the subject, we are going to call him Einstein. So since it's an AND operator, so both of them need to be true to get the net output as true. Okay, so if this comes out to be false, we go to this part. Okay, and in this part again we are using a if statement. Now if statement is checking whether he is scoring greater than 90 in one of the subject. If he is scoring, or the student, he or she, okay, if the student is scoring in greater than 90 in one of the subject, then we are going to call that student a tech whiz. Okay, and if the student is scoring like 90 greater than 90 in neither one of them, then we are going to call him learning tech whiz. That's how simple this formula is. Now let's save it, and let's first check the syntax, and then we will save it and see how it is working there. Yeah, it's no syntax error. Just go to the next, and we will just again next, and now we save it. So we are done with the formula. Now let's go back to the our app and go for the accounts, sorry, not accounts, students. Okay, sorry for that. We'll go here and search for the student object. Here it is, and now let's create a new section. Okay, that name is test1. okay, and class name, let's call it 5th standard. Okay, and let's put some marks here mainly on this. So let's put 91. Suppose he's scoring 90 greater than 90 in both of them. Okay, and for the native let's put 89, and we just save it, and we'll go to the details part, and let's check that title formula where, yeah, he is Einstein because he's scoring greater than 90 in both of them. And now let's change it a little bit. Let's say he's scoring less than 90 in, say, in science. Let's say it's 87. Now the title would be, but he's scoring in maths greater than 90, so the title would be tech whiz. Okay, so let's save it. The title would come as tech whiz. Yeah, it's tech whiz. Now again let's edit it. Let's score below 90 in both of the subjects. So let's say 89. Okay, so it is less than 90 in both of the subjects. So his or her title would be learning tech whiz. Yeah, it's a learning tech whiz. So yeah, this formula is working properly. Hope you are able to understand this formula. Now let's design this one. Okay, we are, instead of copying it, we will be typing it. So let's move back to the object manager and go to the case. We go to the case, we go to the fields and relationship, and we go to new. Okay, since it is giving the rating for the case, so let's solve it. Priority or the rating, you could say. So let's select the formula here, and we give it the rating. Let's say we are giving a rating here. Okay, and since it's a number that is coming out, so we select number, and then the decimal places, let's say it be 0. Okay, let's say we go next. We have on our editor. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to select the case function. From the logical, we select the case. Now the case is there. For the expression, we are using the type. Okay, so insert field and search for the type here. Yeah, type here, and the first value would be, let's say it's electrical. Suppose if the value is electrical, that is what the formula we're doing now. Let me copy this electrical. Let's go copy it till here. Let the if part we will design. Okay, so the first value is electrical. In that case, the result would be 1. If it is electronic, for that we are going to design it. Okay, for the electronic, for the designing, yeah, let's put a comma here, and let's design the value using the if statement. Where is it? Yeah, here is it, the if. So if is, we are done with it. So we are checking is pick val, like this pick val is used to check the value of the pick list. So we are checking the value of the origin pick list here. So let's use that formula here in the first. Is pick val. Is it here or is it in the text field? I guess it's in the text. So let's check in the text bar. Is pick val. Where is it? Yeah, here is it. So the pick list field that we're going to put is origin. Where is origin? Yeah, it's okay, no. Let me check where is origin. Yeah, here is it, case origin. So we have origin. Now the origin, if the text literal value of the origin is, let's say, is web. Okay, that is what we are using here. If it's web, okay, it's web. If it's true, we're gonna give rating as 2. If it is false, we are gonna give rating as 1. That is one thing. Okay, and now let's copy the other one. They are simple, not a big issue there. Let's say we have put in the comma. Yeah, so we are done with it. Let's check the syntax first. A syntax is coming. Now let's understand this. So what this is doing is checking if the type of the case is electrical, it gives the rating as 1. If it is electronic, in this case he is checking for the condition whether the origin is web or not. If the origin is web, the rating is 2. If the origin is not web, the rating is again 1 for the electronic as well. But now we go to the mechanical. If it's mechanical, rating is 3. If structural, rating is 4. If it is other, rating is 5. And since we don't need it, but since it's compulsory to provide the else part, so we just simply put 5, because beyond other we will be just selecting back to the previous value. In that case, again the value will come to that, so no issue on that. So yeah, we are done with it. So we're done with it. So we go next, and then we save it. Okay, so the rating is here. So now let's go to the our app here and go to some case. Okay, the case is not here, so we just go here and case. It's loaded. Let's create a new case. Okay, the status is new. Let it be origin. Let's say we are providing email. Okay, and for the account name, it is not compulsory. For the type, let's provide electronic. And if we look at our formula here in electronic, if the origin is something else other than web, the rating would be 1. Okay, so since we have selected something else other than web, we have selected email, so the rating would come as 1. Okay, no important fields. Okay, is there any field like there is no important field, so let's save it and let's see the rating. Okay, yeah, here it is, the detail. Yeah, rating is 1. Now if we change it to say like with a reverse case origin, let's say it make it web, the rating will now come as 2. Rating is 2. If we give something else the electronic, then let's say we give other, the rating would be 5. Yeah, that is how it's working. So hope you're clear with this as well. Yeah, we designed that formula. Okay, this formula. Okay, hope you're clear with this. Now let's look into that formula, like IsBlank one that we designed previously. For that, we go to the object manager, we go to the account, field and relationship, and then we go to our, there is a field, what was the name of field? Annual. Let's okay, wait, let me check that. Revenue, we have revenue per employee. We click it and we go to the edit part and let's look into the formula. I've edited, yeah, I guess I've edited, and when I was checking the previous video, let's copy that. Yeah. So what was the formula? Let's design it. Okay, rather than design, so we go text, so we go to the if statement which comes under logic. If insert select, and do remember we are treating blank field as zeros or blank field as blank. If we treat blank field as 0, then neither is blank or is null will work, because in that case it would be treated as 0. Okay, so for that we will select blank, treat blank field as blank. Okay, for the logical test here we will use is blank. Okay, is blank, insert if is blank. What is blank here? The revenue. Insert field is number of employees, sorry, not revenue, number of employees. If it is blank, if the number of employees field is blank, that is true, then we give the output as 0. Else we will calculate is using annual revenue divided by total number of employees. So annual revenue, insert, divide by number of employees. Since it's a number field, even we could use IsNUll here. Okay, let's save it and then we check both. I've just not added that OR condition here. Basically, the where the condition is zero condition in the OR part. Haven't added that. Okay, or we could add it. Let's say we want to take the example of the OR function. Okay, OR, comma, number of employees equal to 0. We'll take that as well. Okay, so that would give you an example of OR along with that as well. Okay, or if this condition is true, then yeah, let's check the syntax. It should not give any error. Okay, there's something missing here. Okay, let me check that. Oh yeah, there is one missing here. So the OR part is missing. Yeah, this one is the blank. So yeah, now when yeah, always keep actively looking for the error. Okay, IsBlank should be closed here now. Yeah, that is the issue. So yeah, always have a always be attentive on this bracket. They will create a issue. Okay, let me explain what was the issue. Yeah, once we are done with it, let me check the syntax. Once the syntax is clear, I will explain you. Yeah, it's clear. But what was the issue that this part is the IsBlank. So we are creating an extra bracket. So giving another extra parameter in the IsBlank. Okay, that is the issue. So this is IsBlank. This is the number of employees equal to 0, and this is complete OR. Okay, so that's how the formula is working. If one of these, if this is blank till here, if this condition or this condition is true, it gives 0 as the output. Otherwise, it normally calculate the annual revenue. Okay, we have already saved it, so it's already created. So let's save it. So that is how this is calculating. Okay, so if we go to the accounts, new, let's say called tester. Okay, account number, let's give a random value, and then we go to the number of employees and annual revenue. Let's give annual revenue as 100, or leave it blank. So since it's blank, the net output should come as 0 for the revenue per employee. We save it, then we will have revenue per employee in the detail section. Yeah, revenue per employee is 0. Okay, that is what is here. Now if we provide some value, then let's say 6, it will give us some value. Yeah, the value is coming, revenue per employee. Okay, so let's check IsNUll as well. IsNUll will also work here since it's not a text field. Okay, the only problem comes with the text field with IsNUll. Okay, since it's a number field, IsNUll will also work. Okay, and let's give it IsNUll. Okay, is instead of IsBlank, right, IsNUll. Okay, we could type or select it, no issue on that. As you could see, the syntax is same and the spelling is correct. IsNUll, yeah, it is correct, so that's also working. So we check the syntax, it's correct. We save it, click save, done. Go back here and we change it. Let's give it again 0, and you will see it will come. Okay, so sorry, we were going to leave it as blank. Sorry for that. Yeah, we were gonna leave it blank, and we'll see the output will come as 0. Yeah, it's coming as 0 because it's a number field, so IsNUll works on it. If it was a text field, then IsNUll wouldn't have worked on it. So yeah, that's all for the examples. Hope you're clear with everything here. If you have any issue, let me know in the comments, and you could always connect with me over LinkedIn. The link is in the description for the LinkedIn account. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching.